Hello everyone. In this video, we will be going through the steps that we need to do to pull in both the Southwest Tech standard template and our content that we had available in Blackboard. And what's really nice about this is we're going to have the same place to go for both of those steps. And what we want to do is navigate to the class that we want to bring it into, so that empty one inside of Schoology. And we can see right here, I'm going to do Human Resources. And what we need to do is find the Add Materials button. And then we are going to choose Import from Resources, which is towards the bottom. And this is going to bring up a screen. Now, this might look a little bit different for everyone, but you can see here I'm on the personal one, and I have some things that I've made available for myself. But what we're going to do in this case is we're going to go over here and we're going to choose Group. And we can see here that I have quite a few folders, but the ones that we're looking for is Southwest Tech Standard, and that's actually standard template. And you can see it comes up on the right side here. I do the check all button and click import. And it's gonna just double check and make sure that we want to do everything, and we'll say yep, so we'll import again. And now, depending on how much information you have, it may take longer, your computer's a little slower, but just be patient with these parts. And you can see now that I have everything from the template in my class. You do see here, right here at the top, it says hidden from students. And at the bottom, we also have hidden from students. So our idea with this was that there would be just things for the instructors to see. And the beginning of the semester update would be to just remind you to make sure that you've done everything you need to get the class ready. But unfortunately, it's not coming across as hidden. So we'll have to do that real quick before we forget. We just come over to the gear here to the right. We can choose unpublish. And what that's going to do is that will make it so only you see it and the students can't. Unpublish. And then we'll do same thing down here for the course design process folder. And what's really nice about this folder is if we make any changes to the class, we're going to put it in here so we have a record of when, who, and why the changes were made. And that would be really handy for anyone who just kind of takes a class over at the last minute where they're not sure what's going on or why things were done the way they were. They can come into this folder and look and see and get a little better idea of what's going on. So now that we have everything in from the course template and we've hidden the things that we need to have hidden, our next step is going to be pulling over the archive file from our Blackboard course. So what we do is we'll do Add Materials again, and we'll choose Import from Resources, and we'll pick Group again. And now this time we're going to be looking for the folder that has last name and then your letters. And since I'm not actually teaching this class, it's Jamie Klein's, I'm going to find K through L. And I'm going to click on the name so we can go into the folder. And now see, this is where I get a little lost. I don't know what all of those numbers mean, but luckily I have copied it from before. So it looks like I am looking for 155. So I'll find 155. Here it is. And we'll just checkbox that and we'll do import. And it's just double checking to make sure we want everything, and we do. So we'll pick import again. And this part could take a lot longer than that template that we had. But it looks like that went through too, which is absolutely nice. So some of us who it's going to take a little longer for this part to happen, what might happen is this folder will show up, but you won't be able to click on it, or it just won't show up at all, and you'll have to wait. But you guys did notice I got a little green thing here at the top saying that my stuff had been pulled over. What we can do is click in Archive. And now we can see that we have weeks and readings and discussions. So right now we have that all in there, and now we just have to bring the courses together. So we have to take what was in Blackboard and put it into the standard template that we have. And that's actually pretty nice. What we're going to do is, if you notice the gear over here to the far right, anytime that we see that gear, that's going to give us more options. So if we're stuck somewhere or we're not quite sure what we can do, if we click on that, we're going to be able to see all of the things that we can do for that one. And in this case, what we want to do is we want to move week 1. And instead of being in this archive folder, we want it to be in coursework. As you can see, it gets a little tough to try to remember where everything is, but so we'll move 1 to coursework. And let's move 2 to coursework. Three to coursework. Now this step might be a little different for everyone depending on how your courses are set up. We may have to do a little bit more moving around, but we'll just keep moving all of the content into that coursework folder. And the idea behind the template is that no matter what course a student is in, they have those couple of folders to look at so they know exactly where they need to start. Oop, I don't want that. Just cancel out. And we'll move to coursework. So now that our archive folder is empty, I just like to delete it to get it out of the way so we don't keep getting mixed up. So I clicked on materials on the left to go back to the top level. And then we'll do that gear again. And we'll pick delete way at the bottom. And it'll ask us if we're sure, and we'll say, yep, it's empty. We're not so worried about that. Okay, so now when we go into coursework, we can see that we have another one of those folders that we decided we wanted to have hidden from students. So we'll have to go in real quick. We'll do our gear again and pick unpublish. And we hope that that works. Let's try one more time. And are we sure we want to unpublish? Yep, we do. Boy, that's being tricky on us. So if stuff like this happens, I usually just wait and try it again a little bit later. But so we'll skip on after we're done with that. It looks like we also have this course navigation. And what I'm going to do is just drag it and move it because I don't like it being in between week 1 and week 2. So we'll just move that up. And you can do that by clicking on the icon and moving it where we would want it to go. So like I click on the folder and then move up to where we want them and just let go. So now we can see we have week 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this midterm course evaluation link, I'm going to move that to the bottom for now. And it's nice that it's easy enough to move things around that if we just want to get it out of the way while we're working, we can always move it back quickly too. So now we have everything in our coursework folder that used to be in the old class. One last thing that we have to do is now we have to put the grades and the assignments, we have to link them together. So before in Blackboard, we had our tests or assignments linked to the gradebook. Unfortunately, that didn't come through when we did the transition to Schoology, but it's a pretty easy process to link them together. Some people would like to just remake their gradebook from scratch. I always worry that I'm going to miss something. So the way that I do it is I go into week 1 in this case, and I find my stuff that looks like it has a grade attached to it. So like the week 1 discussion I can see is 25 points. And the week 1 assignment I can see is 100. So what I do is I find that stuff that I know is graded. I do that little gear drop down again. I pick edit. And when it pops up, we pick enable grading for this one since it isn't already turned on. And when we do that, we get more options. And you'll notice here in this one, the default is 100 points. We don't want that. We want that to be 25. And the reason why I know that is that was up here, but you guys might have to look back at your syllabus to see what it was before. We can also put a due date in, but since this isn't my class, I'm not going to do that. And the one bad thing about this is we have to have at least one category inside of the gradebook for school. So in this case, because I've talked with the instructor, what I'm going to do is make a new one, and I'm going to call it discussions. So now all of the discussions will go in this category. If you didn't want to separate them out by type, we could just say grades, or we could do it by week. So we could have week 1 category, and these are all of the things in week 1. But once we fill out that information, so at least the category and the points, then we can do save changes. And now we have a grade item for that week 1 discussion. And let's just do the week 1 assignment while we're here. So again, we do the gear to the right, we edit. And this time the default to 100 points is what we wanted, which is nice. And it looks like we have a little bit of space at the top, so we'll just delete that real quick. And our category is going to be a new, and we're going to call it assignments this time. And once we make, again, I'm not going to put a due date because it's not my class, but this is where we would put it. And we make sure we have our 100 points. We have it in the category that we want. We can click Save Changes. Okay, so now we've created the 2 grade items for week 1. It's a little hard to tell whether we did it right or not, but I'll show you guys real quick how to go about it. So what we do is we'll click Gradebook over here. And now we can see that we have some people in it, but we don't see those grades that we made. And the reason for that is the all gradings period is not what we want. So this is where it might get a little different for some people. Some people might have fall, some people might have spring, and some people might even have just program ones that we created to use during this transition. So I'm going to pick fall and hope that that's the right one. And we can now see that we have our week 1 assignment worth 100 points and our week 1 discussion versus 25 points. So that's how we link the grades together. If you see as I hover over, I can write people in. One real quick tidbit is if we do this 3 buttons here, we can actually set all grades, and we can put in if everybody got 100. So this would be really useful if everybody participates and they get the full credit for that. Or if you have just a few who aren't going to earn full credit, that would save you from having to write in 100 the 30 times that you might have in a class. So that's how to link the grades together. So just a real quick recap, we pulled in the standard template by doing add materials and importing from resources, and we added in the Blackboard materials by doing add materials and importing from resources. We used our wonderful gears to the right here to do all sorts of things like editing, unpublishing, moving, or deleting things we didn't want anymore. I hope to see you guys soon, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email is jcrone@swtc.edu. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.